Chief Meteorologist Tom Wachs. Tom, I've been very intently, oh, that's not Tom. I'm going to bring in Tom now. Tom, I've been very intently looking for a lyric in a Taylor Swift song that brings up jet stream. Kind of talk a little bit about the heat we're seeing now and how that jet stream could play a role later in the week.
Yeah, Maddie, here we are. We're at 94 degrees, one of the warmest days of the year so far. But it's pretty interesting because our dew points are in the low to mid 60s, which, yes, it's still humid, but we're not seeing dew points in the 70s. That's actually allowing the air temperature to go up a bit more. So think about that for a minute. If you've ever been to Florida, it's super humid, right? But you usually don't see these temperatures in the 110 degree range, right? It's usually 95 to 100. Where you go to Arizona, where it's dry, and all of a sudden you get to high temperatures of 110. That's because the drier air can heat up more efficiently. So with dew points in the low 60s, we're at 94. We are expecting highs around 98 tomorrow, which we could be getting close to the century mark with dew points in the low 60s. But I'm glad you mentioned this because, Maddie, let's talk about the dew point. And what I want to do is I'm going to bring this up here for you, and I want to show you where I'm going to kind of do a little inside baseball with you here. Hopefully you can see my screen popping up as I want to show you one of our computer models with the jet stream. So this is the American computer model as we know it. And what you're looking at here, you can see Wisconsin. You might have to look kind of closely here, but by my cursor, there's Wisconsin. These are the jet stream winds. And I'm going to go through time here. And what do you notice? This is now tomorrow. Notice those jet stream winds are up to the north of us, right? That's because we have this heat dome or ridge of high pressure in place. That's why we're so hot right now. Now let's go through time. Aha! Look at Wednesday. We're still in it. We're still in the heat dome, but look at how those strong winds are now up to our northeast, right? So now we go into Thursday. Oh, kind of creeping down a little bit more. Now, let me explain why the jet stream is so significant. Yes, it brings us the heat dome. The jet stream separates warm air to the south from colder air to the north. And it also controls the storm tracks across the country. So now watch what happens as we go towards Friday. Now you're seeing the jet stream kind of coming in over us a little bit more, right? Now we go into the weekend. Aha, here it comes. Now we're going to cool down a little bit late in the week into the weekend as a result of this jet stream dip coming in, but then watch if this verifies as we go into next week. This is now next week, Tuesday, July the 22nd. We start to cool things down with the jet stream over us. But if we see more of this zonal flow pattern set up, watch this. I'm going to go way late in the month. So this is now July 28th. West to east flow is what we call zonal flow in meteorology. That would bring a lot more storm systems back in here and no major heat coming in. So I know this is a little different than you're used to seeing, right, on a typical weathercast, but I think it's important to sort of peel back the layers a little bit in meteorology. So as I'm forecasting today, I am looking particularly at that jet stream level because it's really going to dictate how long this heat dome is going to last. And I'll tell you, fresh off the press here, I've got my forecast sheet.
Breaking.
Fresh off the press, Maddie. 98 tomorrow, 98 on Wednesday, 91 on Thursday with a lake temperature of 87 closer to the lake, and then 80s Friday through the weekend. And that really correlates with that jet stream, right? So kind of interesting when you peel the layers back, that's how we're looking at the forecast to see how long the heat's going to last.
It's very interesting. I was talking with a meteorologist, Lisa Michaels, a little bit earlier, and she was talking about that cool down. And of course, right away, I'm like, oh, how cold are we going to get? And she was like, I don't want to say yet. It's a little too early. Can you talk about why it might be a little too early to be predicting those temperatures that far out?
Sure. And you're talking about next week, right?
Yes.
Yes. So right now, I would say 70s at this point, especially near the lake, maybe even cooler than that towards next Wednesday. It's a little tough for two reasons. Number one, the farther out you go, the less accurate the data is, right? So that's why we always say on day 6 of our 6-day forecast, kind of take that with a grain of salt because things will change, especially around here if the wind shifts off the lake. So that's something that, we need to watch for, especially that lake influence and so on. But right now, I would say 70s for at least a day or two midweek next week, maybe even a bit cooler, closer to the lake, depending on the wind. That's unusual for late July. That's very cool for late July. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing, but I do think we'll have 2 or 3 days of below average temperatures, again, coming off of what will likely be the hottest days of summer here so far by possibly today. I mean, if we get into the mid 90s here, another degree or two, I think today will be the hottest day of the summer so far, and certainly tomorrow and Wednesday. So it's interesting, Maddie, because we go from this big heat wave, which again is going to last through Wednesday. There's a heat advisory that runs noon tomorrow through 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Then, we're going to cool down a little bit later in the week. It's still going to be warm, just not the 90s that we've been seeing. Then we flip the script next week, right? And we go cooler for a couple of days before undoubtedly we'll start to warm up again.
Is this jet stream enough? Because I know hot and cool, that can tend to cause stuff in the atmosphere to maybe cause storms. But is it enough for that?
Very good. Maddie, I'm so impressed with you. This is great.
Well, I listen
for
to
the day
Chief
for you.
Meteorologist
Yes.
Tom Wachs all the time, so I get some good
Well,
knowledge.
thank you. This is great. This is a great question. Yes. So thunderstorm chances don't look to be huge at this point. However, slight chances for thunderstorms will come back starting on Friday and into the weekend. Now, I think if the jet stream, especially later in the month, we get what I call that zonal flow pattern, that would bring some more meaty storm systems through effectively and increase those thunderstorm chances. So the answer overall is yes, they will be going up, but I think in the short term, more spotty variety. I don't think we have any massive storms heading our way. But again, as you mentioned, with all this heat and then temperature gradients or temperature changes, that can lead to thunderstorms. And I do think some of those will be back later on this week.
Wow, interesting. But one step at a time. But we've got some of the hottest days we're going to see. You said in the next, like today and maybe tomorrow?
Tomorrow and Wednesday.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
I know. Stay cool for sure.
My hair's not ready either. Tom, thanks so much for joining us here. Tom will have